They told us Revelation was a code book of doom. But buried beneath the dragons, plagues, and apocalyptic chaos is a divine love letter, a courtroom drama, a cosmic coronation, and a rebellion crushed before it even began. You've been told it's about the end. But what if it's really about who gets the final say? This isn't your typical breakdown of beasts and bowls. This is the revelation you've never seen, the one that pulls back the veil not just on the future, but on the very heart of God. Before we decode seals, trumpets, and thunders, do me one small favor: hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss how all of this ties together in a twist that turns fear into awe. Stick around till the middle, because there's one overlooked verse in chapter 12 that flips the whole narrative upside down. Before we explore the vision, let's address the version most people think they know. To many, the book of Revelation is simply a terrifying roadmap of the end, for horsemen galloping across a blood-stained sky, beasts crawling out of the sea and the earth, fire raining down, trumpets blasting, and a final cosmic battle between the forces of good and evil. It's often reduced to a checklist of cataclysmic events, a countdown clock ticking toward global doom, a blueprint for the apocalypse, a horror film with angels. The popular imagination has turned it into a spectacle of destruction, featuring a rapture that leaves empty clothes on airplanes, an antichrist rising to power, and a world spiraling into chaos. But here's the twist: Revelation wasn't written like a Hollywood movie script. It was never meant to be consumed like a thriller. It's not just a linear forecast of future events. It's a vision, a layered, symbolic, theologically charged dreamscape, crafted in the language of the oppressed, the exiled, the hunted. A vision coded for survival and saturated with meaning. To the first-century Christians living under the boot of Roman power, it was not a horror story. It was a defiant song of hope, a rebellion in prose, an unveiling. The very title gives it away. Revelation, in Greek, is apocalypsis, a word that doesn't mean destruction but unveiling. Not a curtain call, but a curtain pulled back. What's being unveiled is not just what will happen, but what has always been true, hidden beneath the surface of history. That Jesus reigns, that evil has an expiration date, and that the kingdom of God is not a someday dream. It's a present reality breaking in through the cracks of our fallen world. You have to read it not with a telescope, but with a mirror. Revelation reflects. It doesn't just predict. It reveals patterns, divine truths that have echoed through every age of empire, every Babylon, every beast with many heads. Now picture the setting. The Apostle John is old, exiled on the island of Patmos, a Roman Alcatraz, cut off from the churches he once nurtured. The Roman Empire, under the thumb of Domitian, or possibly Nero before him, is hostile to the followers of Christ. Christians are being marginalized, tortured, fed to beasts in arenas, crucified in public squares, burned as torches in Nero's garden. And in the midst of this, John is taken up in the Spirit. Heaven opens. He is shown a vision not of escape, but of endurance. Not of comfort, but of conquest. Not through war, but through witness. He sees Jesus, not the soft-spoken carpenter from Galilee, but the glorified Christ. Eyes like flames, a voice like rushing waters, a sword proceeding from his mouth, 7 golden lampstands, and then a message, not to the world, but to the church. 7 letters, 7 churches, each with a word from the Lord. Some commended, some rebuked. Some have lost their first love. Others are enduring persecution. Some are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold. These letters aren't just historical footnotes. They're diagnostic scans of the church in every age. And then a door opens in heaven. John is invited to come up, not physically, but spiritually, and he sees the throne. The throne isn't just furniture. It's the axis of reality, the center point of all power and purpose. Around it, 24 elders, 12 tribes, 12 apostles, the old and new covenants united in worship. 4 living creatures, straight from Ezekiel's vision, a lion, an ox, a man, an eagle. They do not rest day or night, crying, "Holy, holy, holy." In God's right hand is a scroll, the title deed to the universe, the unfolding plan of redemption and justice. but it is sealed with 7 seals, and no one is found worthy to open it. John weeps, until an elder says, "Do not weep. The Lion of the tribe of Judah has triumphed." But when John looks, he doesn't see a lion. He sees a lamb, slain. Here is the heart of Revelation's upside-down theology. Power is redefined. The Lamb conquers, not by the sword, but by sacrifice. Not by domination, but by laying down his life. The slain Lamb steps forward and takes the scroll. All of heaven erupts in worship. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. And then the seals begin to break. With each seal, a new vision unfolds. Conquest, war, famine, death, the Four Horsemen. Then come martyrs crying out for justice. A cosmic shaking, the wrath of the Lamb. But these aren't just predictions. They are revelations of what happens when humans reject the Lamb and embrace the beast. These horsemen aren't dispatched by God to torment humanity. They're the natural consequences of idolatry, empire, and violence. They are the echo of what happens when Babylon rules the earth. That word, Babylon, matters. Babylon in Revelation isn't just an ancient city. It's a symbol, a code name for empire, for systems that seduce with luxury and power, but are built on exploitation and blood. For Rome then, for any oppressive power now. As the scroll continues to unfold, Revelation introduces us to more characters, each with symbolic weight. The beast from the sea. Most scholars agree this represents Rome, whose emperors claimed divine status and demanded worship. A political power that devours. The beast from the earth. Perhaps the imperial cult, the religious system that enforces the worship of Caesar. A false prophet in priestly robes. And then the infamous number, 666. Revelation 13 verse 18 challenges the reader to calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. In Hebrew numerology called gematria, the name Nero Caesar adds up to 666. Coincidence? Doubtful. This wasn't just a random number. It was a coded jab at the emperor who epitomized Christian persecution. But here's the catch. If the beast is not just a person but a pattern, then 666 shows up again and again in history. Every system that deifies power and tramples the innocent wears that mark. And what about the mark of the beast itself? So often misunderstood as a physical chip, tattoo, or barcode. But Revelation's language is symbolic. The mark on the hand and forehead mirrors the Shema in Deuteronomy 6. Bind these words as a sign on your hand and forehead. It's about allegiance, worship, who shapes your actions, hand, and your thoughts, forehead. The beast or the lamb. To follow the beast is to participate in empire. To follow the lamb is to resist it, even if it costs you everything. And yet, amid all the turmoil, there's a sealed group, 144,000. Some see this as a literal number, others as symbolic, 12 tribes, 12 apostles, times 1,000. A complete, protected remnant of faithful witnesses. They follow the Lamb wherever he goes. Now Revelation does what apocalyptic literature often does. It spirals. It doesn't move linearly like a newsreel. It loops, revisits, reframes. New signs appear in the heavens. A woman clothed with the sun. A dragon waiting to devour her child. A cosmic birth story. Israel giving birth to the Messiah. The child is caught up to God. The dragon is cast down by Michael. War in heaven bleeds into war on earth. And this is crucial. Behind every earthly conflict is a spiritual reality. Revelation shows us the curtain pulled back. Rome is not just Rome. Nero is not just a tyrant. There is a dragon behind the throne. A spiritual adversary manipulating empire to wage war on the saints. And yet, Revelation does not leave us in despair. Interludes show the prayers of the saints rising like incense. The martyrs under the altar are told to wait. Justice is coming. 2 witnesses stand and testify, are struck down and rise again. Perhaps they are literal prophets. Perhaps symbolic of the church, lampstands, just like in chapter 1. Either way, they embody the call to speak truth to power, even unto death. And now we must confront the controversy, the rapture. Many assume Revelation teaches a sudden disappearance of believers before the tribulation. But here's the truth. The concept of the rapture as popularly taught emerged in the 1800s from John Nelson Darby and the Plymouth Brethren is not found explicitly in Revelation. In fact, the vision shows saints enduring, witnessing, overcoming, sealed, not removed. Revelation 7 describes a great multitude from every nation standing before the throne, not as escapees, but as victors. They have come out of the great tribulation, robes washed in the blood of the Lamb. Then there's the millennium, Revelation 20's thousand-year reign. Interpreted variously, premillennialists see a literal reign of Christ on earth after his return. Amillennialists see it as symbolic, the reign of Christ through the church now. Postmillennialists see a golden age before his return. But perhaps Revelation is inviting us into something deeper than a timeline. It's painting a picture of justice, Satan bound, the martyrs raised, and the reign of righteousness. And finally the end, which is really a beginning. A new heaven, a new earth, the holy city, New Jerusalem, descending from God. The sea is no more, not because God hates oceans, but because in ancient Jewish thought, the sea represented chaos, evil, danger. Now even the chaos has been exorcised. There's no temple, because the Lamb is the temple. No sun, because God is the light. No death, mourning, or pain, for the old order has passed away. And here, the narrative comes full circle. Genesis reversed, Eden restored, the curse undone, the tree of life accessible once more, heaven and earth reunited, God dwelling with humanity face to face. This isn't just an ending, it's the ultimate unveiling. Because Revelation is not a puzzle to be solved, it's a portrait to be seen, a reality to be lived. It's the Spirit's vision for a church that is tempted to compromise, tempted to despair, tempted to bow to the beast and call it peace. And to them, to us, Revelation says, don't give in. Don't lose hope. Don't forget who you are. You are not citizens of Babylon. You are citizens of the New Jerusalem. You are not marked by the beast. You are sealed by the Lamb. You are not forgotten. You are seen, loved, and victorious, not because you escaped the fire, but because you endure it singing. Revelation isn't about fear, it's about clarity. It tells us that evil is loud, but not lasting, that the throne is not vacant, that the Lamb, though slain, is standing, and that the end of the story is not a bang, but a blessing. God wins. Love wins. The Lamb reigns. And that is the real revelation.